Hi chums. Good morning. Good morning. It's about, I don't know what time it is. It's around about 8 o'clock in the morning, I suppose, or maybe 20 past, I don't know. Sometime around 8 o'clock, half past 8 in the morning. I've been out here since about 6, but it's not because I'm any sort of super worker or very enthusiastic gardener. There's motorbikes on today, and the motorbikes start at around 9 o'clock. It's about half an hour's time. I'm thinking half an hour's time, and it goes on until almost midnight tonight. There's MotoGP on, and there's the World Superbikes from Monza, I think they are, and there's the British Superbikes. Now, for those of you who are into motorbikes and motorbike racing, the MotoGP is pretty good, but it's not great at the moment. It's just too much of a difference between the bikes. So you get the same suspects always up at the front. The World Superbikes is pretty good, it's just really exciting. But if you haven't discovered British Superbikes, get into that as soon as you can. It is the best series in the world. Last year the series was decided by 4,000ths of a second. Tommy Hill beat John Hopkins by 4,000ths of a second, and that decided a year's racing. Isn't that amazing? So anyway, good thing. But I'm out doing corn this morning, so I'm going to put this thing onto a tripod and see how we go from there. Sorry about all the shaky stuff, but I'm trying to keep my hands away from buttons. Right, I think that's us there. Okay, so I should see my hands, and that's, yep, happy days. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm planting corn. The problem I've found with corn is, or maize, is that when I plant the corn in little pots like this, I have to transplant it after a short amount of time, and corn, in my experience, seems to hate being transplanted. It has a taproot, and if you damage that, the corn's basically useless. So what I've done is I've come up with these. They're just paper tubes out of newspaper, just a slight variation on the pot formers that I made for other smaller stuff. And there's what I used, just a piece of scrap basically. Just for, if somebody's going to ask me what size are those, 8 inches or 20 centimeters by 2 1/4 inches or 5 1/2 centimeters, and just roll the paper around that. And then the other thing I did that I don't normally do is I made this damp, okay, because I was thinking to myself, by the time the water gets in and down the bottom, I don't want to end up with a load of water up here and this dry and then this get all soggy. So I thought if I dampen this first, it'll help get the water down below. So that's what I'm doing. I've just finished these off. I don't normally show you seed sowing because we all know how to sow seeds. And I mean, I think we sometimes overthink it a lot. Because if you look at nature, what does nature do? Nature lets seeds fall on the ground and they grow. You know, and we end up sort of going to extraordinary lengths to plant seeds, and really if they fall on the ground it'll probably do. I mean, it doesn't do any, it doesn't seem to hold the weeds back, does it? So I'm only showing this because it's something I'm doing that's different. So there's our tube, and in there it goes. Now what I've done is I've left about 1 inch space at the top of those, and the variety I'm using here is Lark. A Lark F1. It's supposed to be a corn that does well in a moderate temperate climate. So I hope that includes wee wet Northern Ireland. So I'm just going to put a wee drop more in some of these. I've squashed them down. That's it. But it's just as simple as 1 seed in each pot, and then what I'm hoping is that by the time June comes, those will have grown to an extent where the taproot isn't out the bottom, and I can put them into the bed. Now, the raised bed I'm putting these into was made about 4 years ago, so the cardboard and newspaper at the bottom has gone. So it'll mean that this taproot can get down into the soil below, which is, I have a lovely loamy soil here. Now it's not very deep, it's only about 1 foot deep, but it's a lovely soil, and it'll get down into those. But I'm also thinking of extending the bed upwards a bit, just to give a bit more headroom, you know. Now I'm not going to make you watch me doing every one of these. I'm just making sure I'm still on camera there, you know. And just a wee sprinkle in the top of each one, and then I have another 20 of these sitting across behind over. Where's my hand at? It's over here somewhere. There, I did those earlier, you know. I could have actually made a video and done all 40 of them and made you watch them. Rick Van Man put a video up yesterday, the most boring video on YouTube. So he warned us and everything, and it was Rick weeding. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that sat and watched it. Because there's something about watching another person working. It's almost like meditative. It's that old thing, but I love work, I could watch it all day. But there is something about watching people working, and it can be quite pleasurable and relaxing. Maybe it's because we're not doing it ourselves. So I watched Rick's video, and he was up to his neck in weeds, which is never a nice thing. That's kind of demoralising. But part of the game, there it is. I told you I wasn't going to make you watch me showing these, you know. But there you go. That's it done. And I'll just water those, and we'll be good to go. So I'm just going to swing the camera around here now, just to show you something else that I'm pretty impressed with. If I just do that and that, there's the tomatoes that I put in on their sides, trenched them, and they're flying up. So I'm really pleased with those. Those are Eric's. That's white pear and red pear. So I'm really pleased with those. So as I say, everything's looking grand, and I've only got one other bed done out there. I'll just show you that. Might as well just do that when I've got the camera here. Let's see now. Shaky, 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 shaky. Oh dear. There's a wee thing I did yesterday. Just I found some pansies in the greenhouse the other day, and I stuck them into that to see how they'll do. They're winter pansies, but we'll see what happens. So there we go, folks. There's the bed that I'm at the moment. I'm only one on from the last time because it rained very heavily after I did this. But you can see a lot of roots in that bed there. And I've actually pulled a lot of the roots out because it was full to the top with roots, and those are what's left behind. So I'll pull those out as well, and then put the newspaper and landscape fabric in. So hopefully it'll go all right, you know. So there we are. There's a shot you very seldom see, is the sun on the garden in the morning, because east is over this way here. So there you are. So let's go over there a wee bit and let's see that and try not to blind you either. Trees are starting to flesh out a bit now. That's a silver birch and a horse chestnut behind it. So there you are, folks. All the best now. Bye bye.